So it's about 8 a.m. On the 14th of June, and I wanted to come out into my garden and document the progress because I just put some, I just put some new seedlings into the ground on the 11th, and some tomatoes about a week ago that have come up, I think on the 6th. So I want to check their progress, and then I want to go through the current state of my garden, which you can see over there. So I've got a nice big yard, but unfortunately, because of all these trees, so many trees in my backyard, and they're really tall, you guys, like, I don't know, that's the side of the house, that's the topmost part of the house, and you can see how tall these trees are. So they do a really good job, a really great job of blocking out the sunlight from coming here. So my backyard isn't drenched in full sunlight until about 2 o'clock. My original plan was to have the bulk of my garden be here in the backyard, but I can't really do that because I don't get enough sunlight to grow tomato and okra and watermelon and cucumbers and all the things I was planning for my late summer and early fall garden. So I'm gonna have to move it into the front yard. So that's another reason that I want to go out in front, because I've got some stuff going on up there that I want to talk through and, you know, kind of show. So this is my rain collecting bin. We've been getting a lot of rain. As you can see, this is just from yesterday. I take that and I put it back into, I scoop it out and I use it to water this little raised planter that John built me. The grass is all dead underneath. Because back here, this is like my garden mistakes. I want to document those too. Back here, I had like a colony of these like black carpenter ants, and I read that vinegar gets rid of ants. So I just came back here one day and I just poured vinegar into it, and I killed a lot of my basil. And my pepper plant, this one, did not like what happened, so I had to prune him back a lot because he had a lot of like droopy leaves and like just was not doing well. So these leaves are actually really new. You can see these right here. And then these are sweet peppers. They grow off these little tiny buds. Oh, there's one, perfect. He wanted to be on camera. Oh, out of focus. Anyway, that's my compost back there. But this pepper plant was not affected by the vinegar at all, is doing really well. I've got like one big pepper and I got another couple of ones coming in. And then this is Genovese basil, and that is mammoth basil. I just bought this at the store and put it in the ground. I grew this from seed, and I had, see down here, it started to rot. I don't know what's going on with these plants over here. This basil stalk, I'm just gonna pull it off. Look, it just came right off. That's crazy. Okay, anyway, I'm going to flower anyway. I pluck the flowers off. Sometimes I keep them, other times I just kind of dump them in here. I don't want the basil plant to flower yet because then it puts its power into making beautiful flowers to attract the pollinators, and I want it to put its power into making leaves because that's what I eat. So anyway, okay, so that's that. This is my straw bale garden. I have not conditioned these yet. As of June 14th, I still have to get the bone meal and the other stuff that I need. But it's been really rainy, and that's good for these because you want them to be really wet and nice and fertile and conditioned before you put your plants into them. The seedlings that I started out front are probably gonna come back here because those herbs can grow in partial shade, unlike the cucumbers and okra, which need like 8 to 10 hours of full sun. So look at these. Okay, so these were my lettuce plants, and they've begun to bolt, and that means that they like shoot upward. That's all it is. I don't know why they called it bolt, but anyway, they just grow really fast upwards, and they pull out they put out these flowers, and inside each one of these, once it dries out, once the flower actually dries out, this is pretty wet because it rained, that's where you get your seeds. I'm not gonna grow lettuce again because, this is confession, this is the first thing that I've grown that's had like leaves that you eat. I've never grown a leafy vegetable before. So I found when I would come out here to get my leaves, I would see slugs and little bugs on them, and I'd be like, ooh, I don't want to eat this. It's so silly, but it really, like, it's a mental thing for me to have to get over it, because I'm used to just buying a bag of lettuce and like it's pre-rinsed, it's nice and fluffy. Or even when I buy like the romaine, that's raw, or the raw spinach, I don't ever see anything on it, so it doesn't register to me that it's grown outside and that there have been things on it. Renee was laughing at me, my friend, because I was like, I don't know if I want to grow collards, and she's like, are you crazy? Fresh collards are delicious. You have to soak them anyway, so anything that you've seen on them is gonna be well gone, and you can get some vegetable spray. But anyway, that is something, because obviously I'm out here growing food, and the point is to eat it, but like, I found myself really having, this is my, this is squash, like baby zucchini come off of here. This is my baby squash plant, and even with that, when I've picked them, it sat in the fridge for a day just so I could like, okay, I'm gonna wash this, and that slug that was on it 12 hours ago is gone now, and it's gonna be totally cool. But anyway, so look, I've got more coming in. These blossoms, the blossoms are my favorite part. Really pretty. I wanna pull them off and make squash blossom, like fritters or something like that. But you need like 8 squash blossoms, or, you know, a cup to make maybe 4 good fritters, and I only have 1 zucchini plant, so they're not flowering at the same time for me to be able to do that. But, and I don't want them bad enough to have like 6 zucchini plants, because then I got too much zucchini. These are all tomatoes. Look at that. I'm not really sure what to do with this other than to stalk it up. These tomatoes, there's 1 there, 2, 3. I have 7 tomato plants right now. They're indeterminate, which means they'll grow and grow and grow and grow until you cut them down or they run out of space or whatever. I like to do vertical gardening because it doesn't take up a lot of space. And then these tomatoes down here are determinate, which means that they're gonna put out their fruit and be done. They're not gonna grow and grow and grow forever. They're so pretty. Uh-oh. Look what the rain did yesterday. It tipped over this beefsteak tomato plant. I gotta get that staked back up. But look at these pretty rows of tomatoes. This is a Rapunzel tomato plant, and I think they call it that because it just grows long like her hair, like this long stalk. And I've been coming out, I learned that you can hand pollinate the blossoms just by like shaking them. It imitates a bee or another insect landing. And in tomato plants, the pollen is up top, so you just shake it down to the bottom of the flower, and that fertilizes it, or not fertilizes, it pollinates it, and then it grows fruit. So I did that with this. Luckily, I only have 7 tomato plants, so it's not like I'm out here. This is my little weed. You see this row? Our neighbors and us are gonna put in to get this fence replaced, and then I'm gonna grow wildflowers back here. I've already got the seeds. I'm just waiting for the guy to come and do the fence. So anyway, all these blossoms. So the reason that I'm stepping back into this pile is to show these tomatoes. These are really cool looking. So I learned about these. They're called Indigo Rose. And I think any tomato of this variety, you see that purple, or that color, that indigo, it only grows on the side of the tomato where the sun hits strongest. So you can tell how the sun is moving. I'm such a nerd. I think this is cool. You can tell how the sun moves. See how that? So this, like I was saying earlier, the garden is drenched in light around 2 o'clock, but by that time the sun has moved from back over there to over here. So anyway, I'm gonna go through my little gate, and this is gonna take us out front. And so out here, the sun drenches the yard. It's John's little blacksmithing pit, his anvil and stuff. The sun fills my yard by noon. So I'd let this weed over because I wasn't doing any flowers or anything up here this year because I enjoy the prettiness of the flowers in the house, I really do. But the amount of work that they are, and then they don't provide you any sort of food. Like, I was like, why am I doing all of this when I could grow plants that make me food, and I could can the tomatoes and make pesto, and that's exactly what I've been doing since I started this gardening. So anyway, this is my front garden. This used to be a flower bed, and you can see I still have some of the flowers. These are gladioli. When they bloom, I'm gonna put them up in my tall vase and put them beside my bed. They're gorgeous, I love them. And then I have these lilies here. What we wanted to do was like my neighbor did over here. It's a very California thing to do. Is like you have like a rock garden, or your grass is fake because there's so much drought over there. It's not efficient to have a garden that you constantly have to water. So I want to do that because gardening in the ground just requires so much weeding, and I honestly don't have the time for that with the kids, especially not in the fall when they're going to school. In the summer right now it's not so bad, but because we just come outside and play in the yard in the mornings and the late afternoon when it's not so hot. Right now it's only about 60, so it's not too bad. But in the fall, it starts to get to be too much. So if I do anything like what he's got, I'm gonna do it in containers or in straw bales up front. I thought that would be really cool to kind of lay 4 or 5 of them in a pentagon. What is that, pentagon or octagon or whatever? Oh, I need 8 for an octagon, right? Put them up here and just put some plants into them. Like, I've got cucumber seeds coming from M.I. Gardner and some okra. These are my big red tomatoes. They've sprouted. Those are my big rainbows. So just to give an example, I planted these. Yeah, I'm right. You can't see it on the video, but I planted those on June 6th. So they've been in the backyard. They just came up like 2 days ago, and I moved them up here 2 days ago. So the light quality and the duration of it is really much better up here. So I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna plant put in this bed. That's mammoth basil. It's one of the varieties I've got in the backyard as well. This is chives, and that is cilantro, which is really good on eggs. So when those come up, those herbs, I'm going to take them into the backyard, hopefully, and put them there, and they can ward off pests in my garden. I've got some sunflower seeds coming too, so I can grow these big, like mammoth sunflowers. I had a lot of plans for this garden, but I neglected to look at what time the sun fits my backyard. So I'd have to replant all of that and just put it in the front yard where the sun is, so no big deal. But anyway, I'll do another one of these soon. I just wanted to show what progress is going on and where I'm at, because this year is the first year I've ever grown anything outside. It's the first year I started anything from seed indoors using those lamps. Oh my God, I don't think I ever want to do that again. It was such a pain. I'd rather just wait to go right outside into my raised beds and my container gardens. So, oh, I want to show this too, because this has really spread since I bought it. This is lavender. You can see. There you go. It's so pretty. Anyway, I got these pots for free in San Diego from a group on Facebook where, like, if you're giving away stuff, you can, they put it like whoever's giving it away just puts it outside and you just show up and pick it up. So I got that big old pot for free. It's like a $40 pot. I wasn't expecting the lavender to grow really well in this climate because it's so wet and humid, and lavender is more of a dry plant. But the reason I keep it here, even though it doesn't get the most sunlight all day on my back patio, is because when it rains, I literally have to drag that thing, that big old heavy pot, all the way inside so that it doesn't get too much rain, and that's how I've been taking care of it. So I'm really proud that it's growing so well on my patio. All right, I will do another one of these soon, and I will talk to you later.